Leadership made easy. That's been our discussion on this platform for the past couple of episodes now. My aim is to help you simplify this subject of leadership, because over the years I've seen people grapple with this idea of a leadership. Some don't even know if and how they can exude leadership. And that's what we want to speak to today on this episode of Leaders Arise. My name is Demola Awoyele, and I want to say welcome to this life-changing episode. Now, over the couple of episodes, like I earlier said, I've been discussing how to lead with ease, or you want to call it leadership made easy. I began by saying that if it is not simple, it is not leadership. Leadership helps to simplify complex things. When you see complexities in a place or in a person's life, just know that leadership is absent. But when you see simplicity, know that leadership is present. You may want to go over that episode where I spoke a lot about simplifying complex stuff as the hallmark of great leadership. And I also spoke to the fact that leadership becomes easy, all right, when you take note of a number of things. All right, you may want to go back to that episode. But today I want to share a very powerful thought with you. How can you lead with ease? One point I want to share today, and I hope you're going to garner as much wisdom as possible in this simple thought. Do what leaders do. Do what leaders do. So you may want to call this episode Leadership Made Easy, episode 7, I guess. This should be the 7th shot at this life-changing series. Leadership Made Easy, episode 7. Do what leaders do. The easiest way to gain leadership or to manifest leadership is simply to do what leaders do. I hope you have heard this statement before. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. That is speaking to the fact that just use what other people have used and they have tested and they have tried. Can you imagine if every time you want to drive a car, you need to assemble the car before you drive it? That would have been a sheer waste of time. You just get on the steering, behind the steering, and begin to drive, because the whole mechanism to drive the car has been worked on. Several people have tested it, it has worked. What you need to do is to get behind the steering and begin to drive. So when you see anybody trying to say, oh, I want to make my own car, of course you can make your own car, but you don't have to wait to make your own car before you drive one. You don't have to wait to reinvent your own principle before you apply principles that work. So what am I saying today? Leadership made easy by simply doing what leaders do. This is perhaps what I have learned as a leader over the years. Some couple of weeks ago, I was speaking to them in our local church in the city of Akure, that I learned how to pray, all right, and lead prayers by simply watching how my pastor then was leading prayer. In fact, I began by mimicking him. I began by doing exactly what I saw him do. And good, as God will have it now, I don't have to lead exactly the same way he led. I have now discovered my own pathway to leadership. Now, for you to discover your own unique pathway to leadership, you may have to chart the course or the pathway that some people have treaded. And this is one aspect that a lot of people do not understand. All in the name of being original. Like I tell people, nobody is original actually. All right, all of us are copies of one or two persons and all that. Now, I am not saying that you are not unique. There are two different things. You are unique, meaning you are different. You come with your own flavor. But the truth of the matter is there is a template that all of us are following, either intentionally or unintentionally, either directly or indirectly. God did not have to make 7-point-something billion human beings. God made one man. Out of that man, he brought out a woman, and that was a foundation for the billions of people you have in the world today. So if I may say, the only man that was original in the Bible was Adam. Maybe as a new creation person, you want to talk about Christ. All of us came from Adam. All humans came from Adam. And of course, all Christians came from Christ. That is why we follow Christ, so that we can become what God wants us to become. Now, this point is so important that I'm going to pick it up again at the next episode. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Do what leaders do. Nobody is original, but we can be unique. And one way to come out uniquely is to go with the template that has been set for you. And that is what a lot of people hate to do. The reason being that people want to claim individuality. All right? They want to be, I don't know how to put it, but there are some people that don't want to be named after something. They don't want to be named after someone. They just want to claim that they are self-made. Like one young lady said on the internet some couple of years ago, she said, I'm a self-made woman. That is an error from the pit of hell. Nobody is self-made. The only person that is self-made is God. In fact, I don't even like to use that word for God. God is bigger than that word, but permit me to use that word. The only person that is self-existing, that's another name for God, the self-existing one, all right, is God. All of us are God-made and we are man-made or men-made, as the case may be. So one of the reasons why some people don't want to learn from others, they don't want to do what other people have done or are doing, is because they want to claim that individualistic approach to life. They just want to have this sense that I am different. I don't know how to put it. And that's the reason why some people will never become leaders. Some are looking for their own message to preach when you can copy and preach somebody else's message. Now, that might look funny to some of you because you might think, so Pastor Demola, are you now saying that you should be copying people up and down? I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, now, can you imagine each time you want to preach, maybe as a pastor, you don't want to use the Bible? Because all of us are preaching some people's message, especially if since you are using the Bible. The Bible is a message of Paul, message of Daniel, message of Jesus, message of Mark, message of as many people that wrote. So every day we open the Bible, we say, Paul said, or let's open to Psalm this, let's open to Joshua this. We are simply reiterating what other people have preached, quote and unquote. But guess what? It won't be too long that we'll bring our own uniqueness into the same message that other people have preached. So if you are trying to get your own Bible, as it were, which is never possible, your own message, as it were, you will never be able to be an effective preacher. The same thing applies to every other field of endeavor. Have you noticed that if you are to write a paper, maybe for your scholastic work, your paper is as rich as the references? Now, if you have been through the academic world before, you understand what I'm trying to say. In fact, in those days, my supervisor will first check your reference. God help you if you don't have a reference. He won't bother reading your book or your paper. And or if he sees that your reference is so small, so little, not even well organized, he begins to doubt the strength and the quality of your work. And so what does that mean? It means that if I was in a training the other day, and the person training us was saying that one of the ways to give credibility to your work is by referencing others. He said you don't even have a definition of your own. Your definition must be based on what some people have defined. But, when he said that, I said, wow, this is a very powerful thought. All right. That doesn't mean that you can't define stuff your own, but nobody will hear you. They want you to reference somebody whose line of thought you are following as far as that definition is concerned. Then, maybe when you now become an authority on your own, your definition can now become the standard or the reference. Are you following what I'm saying today? What I'm saying will help in different areas of your life. How do you lead with ease? Just do what leaders do. Follow a model. follow a pattern, follow a template, have a reference. Like one man said some time ago, he said, until you have a reference, you can never be a reference point. You want to be a reference point, you need to have a reference, all right? You want people to refer to you, you have to have a reference. You want to be quoted, you need to quote somebody else, all right? You want to be at the top, you need to, that's the fact of life actually. All right, so I want to put this to you that in every sphere of your endeavor, how to lead with ease is to simply do what you see great leaders do. At the next episode, I will break down the things I believe that are basic that I have noticed that great leaders do, that if you can do them, maybe you're already doing them, if you can continue to do them or increase in your practice of the same, you would emerge into the great leader that God has ordained you to become. You know, when Elisha and Elijah, when they passed through Jordan, Jericho, Bethel, and get to Jordan, the Bible told us in 2 Kings chapter 2 that Elijah took the mantle and he smote Jordan. Jordan was parted, remember? The two of them went beyond Jordan, and shortly after that, Elijah was taken off. Only Elisha was left. Elisha was to go back to where they were coming from. Guess what? Jordan has gone back to its place. That means there was no longer dry land. It was filled with water again. Now, what did Elisha do? He wasn't trying to reinvent the strategy. He simply did what he saw Elijah did. He took that same mantle and smote the Jordan the same way Elijah did it. And guess what? Because it worked for Elijah, it worked for Elisha. Jordan parted, Elisha went through, and the sons of the prophet began to say, wow, the spirit of Elijah doth rest upon Elisha, and they bowed to him. He gained leadership by simply doing what leaders did, or what his leader did. And if you can apply this principle, it will work, whether you are in career, business, ministry, marriage. By the next episode, I will teach you how to find a good model. Model as a person and model as a practice. Because somebody might be asking, does it mean that I should copy and do what everybody does? Not necessarily so. You will gain insight into that at the next episode. This is Demola Awoyele, and I'm sharing thoughts with you on this powerful platform, which we call Leaders Arise. In case you have questions, you have comments or feedback, get them to me all through or across our platform. And of course, share this stream if you have not shared it. Like our page if you have not. Then watch out for the next episode. Bye for now.